This recording is Volume 2 in the series of unintended indiscretions before microphone and camera. This priceless collection, titled Pardon My Blooper, is intended to be a sympathetic tribute to members of the radio and television industry who have been the victims of these classic boners.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the audio radiance.
For our starting point, we tune in on one of radio and TV's best-known performers who came out with this classic.
You remember that fella from history, Napoleon Bonaparte.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this news bulletin to bring you a program.
Our late show film presentation for this evening will be a revival featuring the late Leslie Howard as the Scarlet Pimple. I'm sorry, I mean the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Let's listen to this commercial for a self-service laundry.
Ladies who care to drive by and drop off their clothes will receive prompt attention.
And the Midwest is suffering from one of its worst winters in history, with temperatures dropping to 22 degrees below zero. Tomorrow's forecast is for continued mild.
Tune in again tomorrow, same time, same station, to see if John will goose Sadie's cook. That should read, to see if John cooks Sadie's goose.
His battalion was swallowed in the bulging belch. I beg your pardon, I mean the Belgian bulge.
Even the most veteran performers sometimes burst into uncontrollable laughter when something strikes them funny, as evidenced by Lowell Thomas's complete breakup while he was doing a newscast.
And the little girl deserves to know her mother. So says Alice, and I think her mother deserves to know her. Well, Alice also was thinking of her husband. Phil Harris, the band leader. She explains that working so hard all day in the film studio, she is sometimes not in such perfectly good humor. And she snaps at hubby. Which is all wrong. To which I say, you're all for Alice. I'll leave the rest of it to you.
Lowell, tomorrow is the 1st of May. Now Lowell Thomas says,
So long until tomorrow.
this program came to you from New York.
And now we are going to hear a recording of Rimsky-Korsakov's Bum of the Flightful Bee.
And as anchorman on our panel tonight, we have the great cartoonist, creator of Joe Faluca, Mr. Ham Pisher.
Well, let's spin another disc. This time it's Jose Ferrer's recent bride, Harry James, with Rosemary Clooney on the trumpet.
Stay tuned now for a dramatization of Dickens' immortal Tales of Two Cities.
Children on audience participation programs are certainly unpredictable. As an example, let's listen to a kid show of a few years ago known as Make-A-Wish.
Now, Marion, if you had your wish, what would you want most?
I want to go to the toilet.
And now we hear Nelson Eddy sing My Lady Sleeps with the male chorus.
In the dictionary, you will find a word pronounced peon, spelled P-A-E-A-N. It means to praise. However, an ice cream sponsor didn't endorse this announcer's choice of words.
And now is a good time to pee on Brody's ice cream.
And the report was made to Parliament by Sir Stafford Cripps.
On Two for the Money, popular TV program, a young lady was asked about her occupation.
I work for the Pittsburgh Natural Gas Company. Over 90% of the people in Pittsburgh have gas.
Here's an item of interest to theater lovers. The television rights have just been sold to that long-run Crinzy Louse play, Lice with Father.
And the American League standing shows the Cleveland Indians in first place, with the New York Yankees close up there behind.
National Safety Week got off to a bad start today when the cook in Charlie's Diner accidentally laid his hand on a hot griddle.
Merton Marge, one of radio's most beloved programs, had a character known as Myrtle Hayfield until an actor accidentally got her name slightly fouled up.
You're just a feel, Myrtle Hayfool.
And now, here's the full story on the Russian freighter that capsized in Portland's harbor this afternoon.
Let's listen to this movie actress's enthusiastic testimonial.
I've been using Pepsin since I was a little girl. My mother and father have been using Pepsin since they were little girls.
And now our pianist is going to tear off a piece named Margie.
Yogi Berra, the great Yankee catcher, was asked if he got a thrill getting 2 hits his first day as a Yankee. Yogi corrected the interviewer and said it was 3 hits. The sportscaster apologized and said he read 2 hits in the box score of a newspaper and that the omission of the 3rd hit must have been a typographical error.
Hell no. It was a clean single or left.
I see we're ready for our next sidewalk interview on the Man in the Street program, and it's a young lady in uniform. Miss, your name, please?
Rose Palmer,
And where are you from, Miss Palmer?
Phoenix, Arizona.
I see. And tell me, are you a whack or are you a wave?
Can't you tell by looking at my uniform?
Well, you see, we have a large listening audience, and they can't tell. Of course, from where I'm standing, I can see your navel.
On the smaller radio stations throughout the country, the announcer often doubles as engineer, announcer, producer, director. Let's hear the result of this one-man staff decision to drop the needle on a transcription, depart from the studio for a 15-minute break for a cup of coffee.
Remember, friends, this is the big holiday weekend coming up, so don't be caught short by unexpected guests. Go to your A&P, and P, and P, and P.
Remember, for excellence in service, take your car to your local Ford dealer. Every car, after being serviced, is test-driven by the mechanic. See what a bang-up job he can do.
All right, young lady, now here we go for the giant jackpot question. Now, this is going to be very important to you, and if you get it, you may win. You just may walk home with all the prizes tonight. Now, listen very carefully. This is important to you. Tell me, what is the Taj Mahal?
Come
on now.
What is it? Oh,
10 seconds.
Gee, I'm afraid I don't know.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry, but you should know that the Taj Mahal, located in India, is the greatest erection man has ever had for woman since time immemorial.
On his recent visit to the United States, Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia made an eloquent plea for peace.
And that is why we are proud that our company is the largest producer in the United States of magnesium, aluminum, and steel.
On a famous husband and wife morning show, which had several breakfast foods as sponsors, the following was heard.
What did you have for breakfast, son? Well, what did you have for breakfast, son? Sonny, what did you have for breakfast?
Ouch, Daddy, you're hurting my arm.
And Mrs. Manning's are the finest pork and beans you ever ate. So when you order pork and beans, be sure Mrs. Manning is on the can.
Hogan steps up to the tee. There's a rather strong crosswind blowing from the left. He addresses the ball, and that tee shot was beautiful. It carried about 130 miles from the green.
On an audience participation program, the Master of Ceremonies asked a veteran sea captain who was on this day celebrating his birthday how it felt to be 90 years old.
Topside I'm all right, but below the waterline, I ain't worth a damn.
Well, sports fans, this has been a Saturday of upsets on the gridiron. Harvard has been bowled over by a farting Army team.
Isn't it true that you have been named one of the 10 best-breasted women in Canada?
Poor timing and improper pauses can be the source of many a headache for announcers, as evidenced by this improper change of pace.
And the United Nations will adjourn until next week. And now here's a local news item. A lot of villagers were very startled today when a pack of dogs broke loose from a dog catcher's wagon, and then they raced crazily through the fields of a well-known tobacco plantation. Friends, does your cigarette taste different lately?
A CBS performer, while doing a program on etiquette, instructed her audience as to the proper way to set a table.
And according to proper etiquette, you should set the table in this manner. Place the sports and foons on the table. The porks and soons. Of course, you know I mean the sporks and spoons.
At Triborough Furniture Store, you'll find floor coverings, lamps, and an occasional piece for any room in the house.
On a program on which Art Linkletter was MC, a little girl was asked what her mother had told her not to say on the radio that day.
My mother told me not to announce on the radio that she was pregnant.
So remember, tomorrow morning, why not try Phillips Dental Magnesia? You'll find that it makes an excellent mouthwash.
On an Arkansas station, a selection of hillbilly records were apparently mixed up with a shipment of classical records, with the following result.
Now here's an interesting-looking record. It's got a classical label, sung by a trio, John, Charles, and Thomas.
The next portion of our program is brought to you by Claire's Millinery. Remember, ladies, Claire's Millinery will flatten your heads without flattering your pocketbooks.
Now our next contestant, that's Mrs. Florence Kinsey from
Providence, Rhode Island.
Providence, Rhode Island. Tell me, Mrs. Kinsey, are you any relation to the Dr. Kinsey?
Not that I know of.
Well, have you read the Kinsey Report?
No, I'm waiting for them to make it into a movie.
The confusion of Pearl Harbor was responsible for this West Coast announcer's choice of words.
Everybody today would like to take a crap at the Japs.
On a musical question and answer form, Sigmund Spaeth, the noted tune detective, had musical questions asked of him from music students who were in the audience.
Mr. Spade, why is it I'm always enthusiastic about the music of Johann Strauss, and I always sleep when I eat it?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new Miss America today, a lovely Georgia Peach.
Now, Sally, you've won $32. Are you ready now? Here we go for the $64 question.
The $64 question has been the trademark of Take It or Leave It, one of broadcasting's most popular quiz shows. The sailor was asked to name a noisy food like celery. Let's listen to his classic answer.
Beans.
Here's a news item about a prize dog. Let's listen to this newscaster's personal comment at the conclusion of the story.
And now, finally in the news, a story that came in over our wires a little while ago. That prize-winning dog of Madison Square Garden was crated and shipped from New York City to Boston the other day. It seemed that the valued dog got his tail caught in the crate. The tail apparently was removed, and the irate owner sued for $10,000 in damages. That's a lot of money for a piece of tail.
Let's tune in on this disc jockey, who was sponsored by a new housing development.
At the Quaker Housing Development, we have just one house left. Now, you better hurry, as we're pretty sure this one won't last long. And now for our record. It's just an old shanty in Old Shanty Town.
Thank you very much for being such a wonderful contestant. And now, our sponsor wants you to have this carton of cigarettes for your consumption.
On a test flight of one of our new B-36s, Testicle Sergeant Fetters of Sweetbread Sweetwater, Texas, bailed out.
Let's turn our dial to one of the airwaves' favorite soap operas.
I've worked hard enough in my lifetime. You know, now I think I'm going to retire and give my wife the business.
Now, names in the news. Lovely Rita Hayworth is resting comfortably in Nevada at a nude ranch.
On Queen for a Day, an 8-year-old boy wanted to win a brand new suit. When asked why, this is what the youngster had to say.
I want to wear it tomorrow when my mommy and daddy get married.
And remember, friends, when you're in Bauman's department store, take the elephant to the 3rd floor for the best values in coots and soats. You know what I mean.
This incident occurred on the College of Musical Knowledge, widely heard musical and audience participation program. The Master of Ceremonies was surprised that a lady contestant, young in appearance, had 9 children. He asked what her husband did.
Oh, my husband operates an automatic screwing machine.
And so we conclude Volume 2 in this series of classic radio and television boners. Additional albums will be released soon. So until we meet then, this is your reporter again leaving you with the words of Alexander Pope, who said, "To err is human, to forgive divine." Any reproduction of this recording in any form is strictly prohibited.